Your Ford key fob has a feature built into it that Ford deliberately turned off before your truck ever left the factory. I am not talking about some rumor floating around the internet. I am talking about a real, fully programmed capability sitting inside your vehicle's body control module right now, marked as disabled in the software. Ford designed it, Ford engineered it, Ford tested it, and then Ford decided you should not have it. I have been working on Fords for over 15 years, and this is one of those things that genuinely frustrates me because the hardware is already there, the software is already written, and the only thing standing between you and this feature is a single digital switch that Ford flipped to the off position. Today, I am going to explain exactly what this feature is, why Ford disabled it, and how you can unlock it yourself for about $30. And before you ask, no, this is not actually illegal. Ford just made it feel that way by locking you out of something you already paid for. Let us get into it. The feature is called Global Window Close, and it's the missing half of a system that Ford has partially activated on many of their vehicles for years. You might already know about Global Window Open. That's the feature where you press the unlock button on your key fob once, then press and hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds, and all your windows start rolling down automatically. It's been available on various Ford models going back over a decade, and it's incredibly useful on hot summer days when your truck has been baking in a parking lot. You hit that button from across the lot, the windows drop, and by the time you reach the door, the interior temperature has already dropped significantly. Many Ford owners already know about this feature and use it regularly. But here's what most people don't realize. There's a second half to this system. Global Window Close is supposed to let you do the exact same thing in reverse. Press the lock button on your key fob once to lock the doors, then press and hold the lock button for about 3 to 5 seconds, and all your windows roll up automatically. Think about how useful that would be. You're sitting inside your house and suddenly realize it's about to rain. You left the windows cracked on your truck. Instead of running outside, unlocking the door, turning on the ignition and manually rolling up each window, you just grab your key fob off the counter, point it toward the driveway, and hold the lock button. Windows go up, truck is sealed. You never even put your shoes on. This feature works perfectly in Europe. Ford vehicles sold in the United Kingdom, Germany, and across the European market have had Global Window Open and Global Window Close fully activated for years. European Ford owners use this feature daily. They roll their windows down from the key fob on hot days, and they roll them back up when they are done. It is standard functionality on their vehicles. But in the United States, Ford ships many of their trucks and SUVs with Global Close either completely disabled or partially restricted. The feature is literally sitting in the software marked as disabled. Ford dealership technicians can see it when they connect their diagnostic tools to your vehicle. The option is right there in the body control module configuration. It says Global Close, and the value is set to 0, disabled. It is not listed as not equipped. It is not missing hardware. The code is written, the wiring is in place, the window motors are capable, and Ford simply chose to turn it off. So why did Ford disable this feature? The answer comes down to federal safety regulations and a healthy dose of corporate caution. In the United States, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration enforces a regulation called Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 118, commonly known as FMVSS 118. This standard governs power-operated windows, partitions, and roof panel systems. It was created primarily to protect children from being injured or killed by power windows. The regulation is serious for good reason. Power windows generate enough force to cause real harm, and historically, children have been injured by windows closing on their fingers, hands, and in the most tragic cases, their necks. FMVSS118 requires that any window capable of closing without the driver continuously holding the switch must be equipped with an automatic reversal system, what Ford calls bounce-back technology. This means if the window encounters an obstruction while closing, it must immediately stop in reverse direction. The window has to detect resistance and open back up before applying more than 100 newtons of force, roughly 22 pounds. This is the critical piece of the puzzle. For a window to legally close remotely from a key fob under United States regulations, it needs to have this anti-pinch bounce-back system fully certified and active. On most modern Ford trucks and SUVs, the front windows are equipped with bounce-back technology. They have the sensors and the programming to detect obstructions and reverse direction. That is why, on some models, Ford allows global open but restricts global close, or only enables global close on the front windows through software changes. The rear windows on many Ford trucks do not have the same anti-pinch capability as the front windows. The rear door modules are simpler and do not include the same level of obstruction detection. This is why Ford has never enabled rear window global close from the factory. It is a legitimate safety concern. Closing rear windows remotely without anti-pinch protection could potentially injure a child who has their arm or hand resting in the window opening. Ford European vehicles have different configurations and comply with ECER 21, which is the European equivalent of FMVSS 118. The European standards have similar anti-pinch requirements, but the implementation and certification process differs, which is why European Ford models have had full global open and close functionality for much longer. But here's where it gets frustrating. On many U.S. market Ford trucks from 2015 and newer, particularly the F-150 Super Duty Explorer and Expedition, the front windows absolutely have bounce-back technology installed and active. These front windows already comply with the anti-pinch requirements. They already stop and reverse when they hit an obstruction during one touch express up operation from the door switch. The safety hardware is there, the safety software is running, but Ford still chose to disable global close from the key fob on many of these vehicles in the U.S. market. The reason likely comes down to liability and regulatory caution rather than technical limitation. Ford would rather disable a convenience feature than risk any potential regulatory scrutiny or litigation. Even though the front windows have anti-pinch protection, enabling remote closing from a key fob introduces the possibility of someone being outside the vehicle, unable to see the windows closing, and a child or pet being near the opening. The bounce-back system should catch any obstruction, but Ford apparently decided the small risk was not worth the convenience for the U.S. market. Meanwhile, European owners have been enjoying this feature without incident for years. Now here's the good news. You can unlock this feature yourself, and it does not require any special mechanical knowledge or expensive tools. The tool you need is called ForScan. If you have watched any of my other videos, you have probably heard me mention it before. ForScan is a software application that connects to your Ford's OBD2 diagnostic port and lets you read and modify the configuration settings in your vehicle's computer modules. It is the same type of access that Ford dealership technicians have with their proprietary diagnostic systems, but ForScan costs a fraction of the price and runs on your laptop. Here is what you need to get started. First, you need an OBD2 adapter. This is a small device that plugs into the diagnostic port under your dashboard, typically located below the steering column on the driver's side. You can get a reliable OBD2 adapter for about $25 to $35. The OBD-Link EX and the OHP Elm Config adapters are popular choices among Ford owners because they provide stable connections and work well with ForScan. A USB connection is generally more reliable than Bluetooth for this type of configuration work, so I recommend a USB adapter if you have a laptop you can bring to the vehicle. Second, you need the ForScan software itself. You can download it from forscan.org. The basic version is free, but you will want to register on the ForScan forum and request an extended trial license, which is also free. The extended license unlocks the module configuration features you will need to enable global close. Third, and this is important, document your original settings before changing anything. FORScan lets you save your current configuration as a backup file. Always do this before making any changes. If something goes wrong or you want to revert, you can restore your original settings from that backup. The actual process of enabling global close involves modifying specific values in the body control module, which FORScan labels as BDYCM. You will also need to make changes in the driver door module, labeled DDM, and possibly the APIM module if your vehicle has a Sync 3 or Sync 4 touchscreen, so the global close option appears in your vehicle settings menu. The specific values you need to change vary depending on your model year and trim level, but the Ford FORScan community has documented these settings extensively. There are detailed spreadsheets available on the FORScan forums and on sites like F150forum.com and F150gen14.com that list the exact module, the exact address, and the exact value to change for your specific vehicle. For most F-150s and Super Duty trucks, the key change is in the BDICM module, where you will find a parameter for global close that is set to 0, meaning disabled. Change that value to 1, and that enables remote press and hold closing. You should also check the DDM module for similar global window parameters and ensure those are set to enabled as well. On vehicles with Sync 3 or Sync 4, modifying the APIM module adds the global open and global close toggle switches to your vehicle settings menu on the touchscreen, giving you the ability to turn the feature on and off whenever you want without reconnecting FORScan. Once you have written the changes to the modules, turn off the ignition completely, get out of the vehicle, and test it. Press the lock button on your key fob once to lock the doors. Then immediately press and hold the lock button for about 3 to 5 seconds. If everything is configured correctly, your front windows will start rolling up. Release the button when the windows reach the position you want, or keep holding until they are fully closed. The windows will stop if they encounter any resistance, thanks to the bounce back system that is already active on your front windows. A few important things to keep in mind. This modification only works reliably on the front windows, because those are the ones with anti-pinch bounce back technology. The rear windows on most Ford trucks lack this safety feature, which is why global close typically only affects the driver and passenger front windows. Do not try to force enable global close on rear windows that do not have bounce back protection. The safety concern is legitimate, and the small inconvenience of manually closing rear windows is not worth the risk of injuring someone. The range for global close is the same as your normal key fob range, which is roughly 30 to 50 feet from the vehicle. This is not like FordPass Remote Start, which can work from miles away. You need to be within standard key fob distance for the signal to reach the vehicle receiver. One concern some owners have is whether enabling this feature through FORScan will void their warranty or cause problems at the dealership. The short answer is that FORScan modifications are generally reversible. You can restore your original settings at any time using the backup you saved before making changes. Ford dealerships typically do not check for FORScan modifications during routine service visits. However, if you bring your vehicle in for a warranty claim related to the windows system or the body control module, and a technician discovers the settings have been modified, they could theoretically use that as grounds to deny the specific claim. This is why saving your backup and understanding how to revert changes is so important. Some dealerships are familiar with FORScan and do not care about minor configuration changes like enabling global close. Others might be less accommodating. It depends entirely on the dealership and the technician. While you are in FORScan enabling global close, there are a few other key fob-related features worth exploring. Many Ford owners do not realize they can change the double honk confirmation that happens when you lock the vehicle with the key fob. That loud double honk at midnight, when you are trying not to wake the neighbors, can be changed to a single honk, a flash-only confirmation or disabled entirely. This setting is buried in the body control module and takes about 30 seconds to change. You can also adjust the remote start duration if your vehicle is equipped with remote start. The factory default on most Fords is 10 minutes, but through ForeScan you can change it to 5, 15, or 20 minutes depending on your needs and climate. If you live somewhere where temperatures regularly drop below zero, extending that remote start time means your cabin is actually warm by the time you get in. You can also enable or adjust the approach lighting behavior, which controls how long the exterior lights stay on when you unlock the vehicle with the key fob at night and whether the interior lights illuminate when you approach. If you are not comfortable making ForeScan changes yourself, many Ford dealerships will enable global close for you if you ask. The service is typically done using Ford's IDS or FDRS diagnostic system, and most dealers charge between $50 and $150 for programming changes like this. Some dealers will do it for free if you are already having other service work done. The key is to specifically ask them to enable global window close in the body control module. Some service advisors will not know what you are talking about, so you may need to reference the feature by its technical name and explain that it is a BCM configuration change, not a hardware modification. The irony of this entire situation is that Ford advertises the global window system as a feature on many of their vehicles, but does not tell you that half the system is turned off. You paid for a truck that has the complete hardware and software for both opening and closing windows remotely, and Ford delivered it with half the functionality disabled. European buyers of the exact same vehicle get the full feature set. American buyers get a half-baked version because of regulatory caution that in the case of front windows with bounce-back technology arguably does not even apply. This is becoming an increasingly common pattern in the auto industry. Manufacturers build vehicles with capabilities they do not fully activate, either because of regional regulations, marketing decisions to differentiate trim levels, or simple cost-saving measures where they do not want to certify and support features across all markets. Ford is far from the only company doing this, but as a Ford owner, it is particularly frustrating when you discover that the solution is a $30 adapter and a free software download. The feature is already there, it is already paid for, it works perfectly. Ford just decided you should not have it. If you found this information useful, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you do not miss future videos where we expose more hidden Ford features and explain how to unlock them. Drop a comment telling me whether you have already enabled global close on your truck or if you are planning to do it this weekend. Make sure you share this video with any Ford owner who could benefit from knowing about this. Most people drive their Fords for years without ever realizing this feature exists, let alone that it is sitting right there in their vehicle software waiting to be turned on. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.